Welcome back, guys, to the Butterfly Season Podcast. My name is Aisha Marshall. I am the host of the Butterfly Season Podcast, where we celebrate the beauty and the transformation. And today I have a micro dose of an episode that I want to talk to you about. And it's really like why I am currently in, as you're listening to this, I am probably still going to be in it, but an 120-day HypnoBreathWork challenge. I just created the challenge for myself. I didn't create the structure of the challenge, but I challenged myself to do it for 120 days. I do a much longer episode where I get into the details of it all. That episode is titled Why I Decided to Do a 120-Day HypnoBreathWork Challenge. But if you're needing a quick, episode in a jiffy about it, that is this episode. And so I'm going to give you like the scientific reasons why I decided to do this. And you might also decide to based off of these reasonings as well. So the reason why I decided to do this, let me just rewind. What prompted me was I could not get quiet and get my mind still. I usually frequently get like really clear like thoughts, messages, like of aligned action and what I need to do. And especially when I'm like going through something, and I was just like really struggling to drop in. And so I decided I needed to take it a level further, figure out ways to get super quiet. Typically that's yoga for me. I was on vacation and wasn't going to hot yoga while on vacation. I tried to do yoga while on vacation. Actually, I did take a yoga class and like, I just wasn't getting tapped in. Anyway, that's why I started the challenge. But the benefits are also why I started. And so by meditating frequently, and that's really what HypnoBreathWork is. Like if you, actually, it's probably important that I break down what HypnoBreathWork is for me. So for me, I do breath work, and this format I've done before with Francesca, a founder of the Mastery app. If you haven't heard of it, I would suggest you download it. There is a HypnoBreathWork meditation called Abundance, I want to say, by Francesca. If you do that, that is what I'm explaining here. I just do a different one that my friend Melissa put together. She has really been guiding me and a lot of my friends that are all in a mastermind on like our HypnoBreathWork journey, basically. And so what it is you're doing like HypnoBreathWork, you're doing the breathwork rather, you're breathing, you get your mind to that like meditative state. And then when you're there, you're still doing that like guided breath, but you are also doing a guided meditation, which is like helping you visualize your intentions or the goals that you're setting for yourself. Like, what are the things that you want in your life or to call in? What do they look like in real life? Like you're thinking about that, like while you're meditating. And then when you outline all of your intentions or your goals, and then you go through bringing out those emotions in you as you're like meditating. So what would it feel like? What does it feel like when those things happen? Like the actual emotion to it. And at the end, it like ties that all together, like the intention, the like actual physical of it, plus the emotion, marries those two things together. And then at the end of the meditation, it asks you like, what is your next action step to achieving those intentions? And so it's really similar to like a Joe Dispenza model. It's like, it's just combining different modalities to get you to that place. And that is what I've been doing. That is what I will be doing for the next 120 days, but that's what I've been doing for the past week and some change. And so the reason why, not to just like call in all the things that I want to call in, but also to help me through some of like the blockages just generally. And so with meditation and HypnoBreathWork here, it helps you regulate your emotional responses. So getting you out of fight or flight and into more like calm, regulated state. And fight or flight doesn't mean that you're like actually running for your life. There are scenarios in which your body can begin to create a fight or flight response, but it reduces the intensity of the negative emotions, which is important because that allows you to actually like observe your thoughts and feelings without becoming overwhelmed by them. When we become overwhelmed by them or we don't feel like we're being heard or seen or any of those things is when we have those like snap responses that like lead you to like spiraling of behavior or breakdown of conversation or relationships or what have you. So when you can take a backseat and visualize your emotions and your thoughts and your feelings, you begin to have more of an understanding for them comprehensively, but then also like where they come from to begin to address those things. It's really just like a fostering of self-awareness by encouraging you to observe your thoughts and emotions. By doing that, you notice the patterns, which we talked about, but also you like treat yourself better. A lot of you guys struggle with negative self-talk, as do I, and this helps with that. Another thing that it helps with that I love is like promoting neuroplasticity of your brain. And so neuroplasticity basically is like your brain reorganizing itself. It's like our brain is like a computer, right? And so if we're promoting the ability to reorganize, regularly meditating, that practice strengthens the neuroconnections that are associated, like the neural pathways that are associated with negative emotions. And so if we're reorganizing them, which let me just rewind a little bit. Your neural pathways, and if you're an avid listener of the podcast, you've heard this, but you've heard me talk about this before, but think about your brain like a mountain. Once the first snowfall happens, it's like completely clean and clear, like there's no paths. But when someone skis or snowboards down, that makes the first trail, just like a regular trail, like a hiking trail. It makes it easier for the next person to follow that trail and follow until it's like deeply ingrained, right? Now, that's like a neural pathway. If you experience something for the first time and it's a toxic or a negative cycle or loop or pattern of events, you're more likely to repeat that same pattern the next time you enter a similar situation. Now, that pattern will repeat and repeat and repeat all throughout your life because that's how you've known to do the thing. And so by meditating, and for me, HypnoBreathWork with meditation, you're promoting neuroplasticity so that your brain can reorganize itself. And instead of linking to negative emotions, you can rewire to more positive emotions that lead to like lasting change of having a better emotional well-being and reduction in overall like negative energy, negative emotion. Even if you don't realize that it's negative, it's not entirely positive, right? And so, the other thing that it helps with is general mindfulness and like allowing yourself to be present in that moment without judgment. And what I've noticed, especially like in my mornings, I am constantly thinking about the next thing, the things that I should probably write down on the list, but I'm just like re-saying them and re-saying them so that I don't forget. All of that just starts to get me in like a fight or flight mode. And that is bad for you just generally. Maybe in another episode, I'll get into the science of like why it's bad for you to constantly be in like fight or flight, adrenal fatigue, and how that shows up in your body. But at least with meditation, regulating your nervous system and then taking aligned action, like you literally collapse the time for creating the life that you want versus the life that you're currently in, but then also healing a lot of what needs to be healed to call in what you want to call in. Anyways, that is why I started my challenge of 120 days of doing HypnoBreathWork. And if you decide to take any sort of meditative challenge, post it on Instagram, tag me. Like the Butterfly Season podcast is like it's all about us type of thing. We're doing this together and I love doing things with you guys. So that's all for today. And until next time.